Once upon a time, there was a Danish soldier, and upon returning home from the wars, he met an old witch who asked him a very special favor. "You look like a strong, capable young man," she said. "Would you do me a favor by going up to that tree and lowering yourself to the chamber below it to retrieve my tinderbox for me? My grandmother left it there ages ago, and I am now too old to retrieve it myself. Oh, and as a reward, that chamber is also filled with my treasure, which is full of copper, silver, and gold. Fill your pockets with as much as you can carry. How about it?" And the soldier said, "Oh, that's great." She said, "Fine. Okay, but there's one thing. There are 3 dogs guarding the treasure, but not to worry. I will loan you my blue checked apron. Lay the apron on the ground, and the dogs will jump on the apron and fall asleep, totally pacified. You still game?" And the soldier's thinking to himself, "Yeah, I faced a lot more than that in the war. Sure, I'll go." So up to the tree he went and down to the chamber, where he embarked on the greatest adventure of his life. And that is a story called The Tinderbox by Hans Christian Andersen, which is part of the Yellow Fairy book, edited by Andrew Lang. "Well, tie the rope around my waist," said the soldier. "Here it is," said the witch, "and here is my blue check apron." Then the soldier climbed up the tree, let himself down through the hole, and found himself standing, as the witch had said, underground in the large hall, where the 300 lamps were burning. Well, he opened the first door, and there sat the dog with the eyes as big as saucers glaring at him. "You are a fine fellow," said the soldier, and put him on the witch's apron, took as much copper as his pockets could hold. Then he shut the chest, put the dog on it again, and went into the second room. Sure enough, there sat the dog with eyes as large as mill wheels. "You had better not look at me so hard," said the soldier. "Your eyes will come out of their sockets." And then he sat the dog on the apron. When he saw all the silver in the chest, he threw away all the copper he had taken and filled his pockets and knapsack with nothing but silver. Then he went into the third room. Horrors! The dog there had 2 eyes, each as large as the round tower of Copenhagen, spinning around in his head like wheels. "Good evening," said the soldier, and saluted, for he had never seen such a dog like this before. But when he had examined him more closely, he thought to himself, "Now then, I've had enough of this," and put him down on the floor and opened the chest. Heavens, what a heap of gold there was! With all that, he could buy up the whole town, and all the sugar pigs, all the tin soldiers, whips and rocking horses in the whole world. Now he threw away all the silver, with which he had filled his pockets and knapsack, and filled them with gold instead. Yes, all his pockets, his knapsack, cap, and boots even, so that he could hardly walk. Now he was rich indeed. He put the dog back on the chest, shut the door, and then called up through the tree, "Now pull me up again, old witch." "Have you got the tinderbox also?" asked the witch. "Botheration," said the soldier. "I had clean forgotten." And then he went back and fetched it. The witch pulled him up, and there he stood again on the high road, with pockets, knapsack, caps, and boots filled with gold. "Now what do you want with the tinderbox?" asked the soldier. "That doesn't matter to you," replied the witch. "You have got your money. Give me my tinderbox." "We'll see," said the soldier. "Tell me at once what you want to do with it, or I will draw my sword and cut off your head." "No," said the witch. The soldier immediately cut off her head. That was the end of her. But he tied all his money in her apron, slung it over his shoulder, stuck the tinderbox in his pocket, and struck out for town. Wow, that poor old woman. Women of independent means around the 1800s were considered a threat to society and therefore labeled witches. whether someone casts spells to ruin crops or cause disease or not. If they disturb societal orders, they were labeled witches back then. Witches in a bad way. And this poor old woman lost a fortune that was obviously built by generations of her ancestors to a total stranger. For the tinderbox turned out to be somewhat of a dog whistle for protection and an ATM card, which that soldier used to his full advantage. Beware of strangers. Beware of strangers. A treasure trove stored in a cavern underneath a tree leads me to think of subterranean caverns that yield ores throughout this region in Eastern California, which is gold country. At Moaning Caverns in Vallecito, California, lies the largest cavern in California. And although it does not yield gold, it is a treasure in its own right, for it sparks the urge to spelunk, which is to explore caves, which turns out to be a source of revenue for this region of California, for those who want an alternative to visiting Yosemite. Let's explore. I am in the Moon Caves. It's a limestone formation. In Vallecito, California. Can you imagine a treasure down here? With a witch? Oh my gosh, look at that. That far down.
We're just exploring this cave for a minute.
It's amazing. The soldier repelled into a subterranean cavern, much like this one. It was illuminated with many lights, just as you see here at Moaning Cavern, as a tourist attraction today. However, the reality of a subterranean cavern is total darkness. No visibility whatsoever. This is what California gold rush prospectors encountered as they explored caverns for gold in the mid-1800s. What they used to illuminate dark spaces like this one here were lanterns, which they lit with fire starters. And what a fire starter in 1848 looks like is a metal box with a carbon striker, a few chips of flint, stone, and a slow burning cloth. Matches were invented 20 years earlier, but if you didn't have matches or if your matches got wet, a fire starter was your best bet. With this enchanted fire starter kit, best known as a tinderbox, at the time the story was written, the soldier went on to use its magic to advance far above his station in life. To read how he did so, I encourage you to visit your local library and ask for The Tinderbox by Hans Christian Andersen, part of the anthology The Yellow Fairy Book by Andrew Lang.